Breaking Pelosi issues Sikh demand to America. Controversy is swirling over what should be done about Confederate statues established throughout the United States. Now with the tensions at an all-time high, politically motivated demands are being made of the American people regarding these monuments. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, DCA, is at the forefront leading the removal of these historical statues at the US Capitol. According to Politico, Pelosi believes that people should be outraged about these monuments, that the decision to keep or remove them should be stripped from the individual states, which is where the choice has belonged. The push from Pelosi came after Senator Cory Booker started crafting legislation that would remove the Confederate monuments directly after the horrific events in Charlottesville, Virginia. Democrats were virtually silent about removal of monuments depicting historical figures who owned slaves and as evidenced in history, but now things have changed. Rep. Pelosi has started to thumb the political war drum and is even attempting to recruit Republicans to her side of this issue. Pelosi stated, if Republicans are serious about rejecting white supremacy, I call upon Speaker Rehan to join Democrats to remove the Confederate statues from the Capitol immediately. In other words, agree to remove the statues or risk being labeled evil supporters of racism. Congressional GOP leaders casually addressed the issues when the word first came out that the left wanted to remove the historical monuments from publicly display. In some locations, the statues have been displayed for over 100 years. Rehan said that it ought to be up to the individual states to decide whether or not Confederate statues should be removed and left it at that. In response to Pelosi's demands, Duff Aldrich, a spokesperson for Rehan, reiterated that these are decisions for those states to make. Independent Journal Review reported. However, according to law establishing the National Statuary, all statues permitted in the collection must be supplied by states and depict a deceased citizen of that state who is considered illustrious of our historical renown or for distinguished civic or military services. In other words, the federal government both recognized and granted state governments the discretion to determine which citizen to commemorate at the federal level without criteria excluding one's commemorations. It is then inconsistent to challenge statues that have been erected through the power granted to municipal governments and which have stood uncontested for many years. Pelosi stated there is no room for celebrating the violent bigotry of the men of Confederacy in the hallowed halls of the United States Capitol or in places of honor across the country. The only problem with that statement is it doesn't seem that anyone on left or right is celebrating their violence or bigotry. Racism is obviously reprehensible and it is unacceptable to say otherwise, but context matters. The statues are not in place because people want to celebrate racism. Nancy Pelosi thinks the federal government should pass a law to get rid of Confederate statues should this decision be left to the states. Pelosi's spokesman Drew Hamill accused Speaker Rehan of hiding behind states instead of just doing what Pelosi demands of him. Sadly, this is prevailing tone coming from the left. Ignoring this demand is unacceptable. Now Booker is working on crafting legislation that would remove the offensive statues from locations all across the country, whether they exist on federal lands or not, or and are with or without the consent of sovereigns, local authorities. However, the odds of Booker's legislations making through Congress are slim, especially considering Rihanna's pro-state policy. All of America is watching and waiting to see how this game of political chess plays out. These monuments have been on display long before any of us were born. Hopefully they will continue to be displayed around the country throughout our lifetimes. Should they fall at the demands of political opportunists, we risk the beginning of the end of the accurate accounting of US history. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and share my videos.